Good morning. Today is Friday, October 11th. This is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm Andrew Garcia. We are looking at the potential for record-breaking temperatures this weekend as unseasonably warm weather for October heats up North Texas. Expect highs in the mid to upper 90s, some areas even flirting with triple digits. Luckily, though, next week is forecasted to be the start of some true fall weather. Highs expected to finally drop to the 70s by midweek. Despite a spike in COVID cases this summer and a potential spike in the winter coming, many are still unconcerned. We'll hear why after today's news. An audit report out this week on millions in misallocated donor funds in Dallas Fair Park reportedly has been updated. The original report pointed blame at the park operator Oakview Group for using $5.7 million in restricted donor funds for operations and projects, money intended for the nonprofit manager Fair Park First to spend on specific capital improvement projects. The Dallas Morning News reports documents obtained yesterday from Oakview Group and Fair Park First do not mention who is at fault. That's after Oakview's general counsel threatened legal action if the audit firm didn't retract blame assigned to Oakview and issue an updated report. Karen Molinar has stepped in as interim superintendent for Fort Worth ISD after Angelica Ramsey's recent resignation. Ramsey left the position following concerns about stagnant student performance and a more than $17 million budget cap. There was a spike in COVID-19 cases over the summer. Another's possible in the winter. But survey results last week from the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases found less than 20% of U.S. adults were concerned about getting COVID or other respiratory viruses or illnesses this season. Dr. James Cutrell, an infectious diseases specialist with UT Southwestern Medical Center, explains to KERA's Sam Baker what may account for the lack of interest in COVID vaccines.
One thing is, I think because COVID maybe is not as much in the news, people don't necessarily see the need or the risk the same way that they did maybe early on in the pandemic. Secondly, I think there is still some lingering concerns about side effects related to the vaccines.
But 45% of those surveyed said they didn't plan to get the updated COVID-19 vaccine. And that study was done in August, at or just after a COVID scare over the summer. Wouldn't that be an incentive to get the shot?
You would hope so. But I think when people see in the news, reports of COVID cases going up, or when they see that national organizations like the CDC or public health are making recommendations, I think that has less of an impact. If you look at people who have had COVID or have people who are close to them who've had COVID, oftentimes that is a motivator and incentive for them to think about getting the vaccine. And so I think it's more helping people understand their individual and personal risk that's going to move the needle, speaking people getting the vaccine.
You mentioned side effects. Are there side effects to worry about?
What we've learned over time is that the most common ones are some soreness or maybe a reaction at the local site where you get the vaccine. These tend to be very short-lived and are gone a day or two later. There are some rare side effects. One that got a lot of attention is inflammation of the heart, what's called myocarditis. This seems to be more common in males and younger males. And so we certainly do think about this when we're weighing the risks and benefits of vaccine, particularly in younger, healthy individuals. But I think overall, particularly in those that are higher risk for having severe outcomes from COVID, the data is pretty clear that the benefits of the vaccine far outweigh any of the side effects or risks. So some of the groups I think that we're really strongly encouraging to get the updated boosters would be anyone who's over the age of 65. Those individuals oftentimes are at highest risk of being hospitalized or even dying from COVID. People who have serious chronic medical health conditions. This could be chronic heart or lung disease, people who've had organ transplants, people who may have different types of cancer. We continue to see that individuals who are pregnant, also are at higher risk for serious outcomes. And by getting the vaccine while you're pregnant, that can also help provide protective immunity or antibodies to your baby once they're born. So those are some of the groups I think that are at the highest risk that we really want to encourage to get the updated vaccines for.
For yourself or for others?
Both. For some of those individuals in those high risk categories that I just mentioned, getting it for yourself is going to definitely provide a personal benefit. But in some cases, people may be living with individuals who are at higher risk, or maybe working in a higher risk area like hospitals, nursing homes, things like that. And so for those individuals, getting it to help protect those around them can be important as well. I think this is also an area where we need to continue to do good real-world research on these vaccines, including in this new era when many people have already had COVID, so they may have some natural immune protection. And so we need to understand what is the incremental benefit that these vaccines provide to individuals so that we can continue to give them accurate and useful information as we counsel them about whether getting another vaccine booster is right for them.
That was KERA's Sam Baker speaking with Dr. James Cutrell of UT Southwestern Medical Center. The Dallas Cowboys will take on the Detroit Lions at home this weekend, an important game for the Cowboys as they look to build upon their hard-fought win against the Steelers last week and prove themselves against another tough opponent. Kickoff is at 3:25 on Sunday afternoon. And the Red River Showdown is tomorrow as Oklahoma takes on Texas at the Cotton Bowl. UT is the heavy favorite going into the game, but given the history of this neutral site game and the rivalry between the two schools, you never know how it might turn out. Kickoff is tomorrow at 2:30. If you're looking for something else besides football to do over the weekend, look no further than the Hay Festival at the Wild Detectives. This event joins activism, journalism, literature, and performance to explore the power of storytelling. For more information and other things to do, visit kera.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News on this Friday. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show was produced and edited by Shardae White and Becca Moore. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter. That's written by our colleague, Catherine Hobbs. You can connect with us on social media. You can try Instagram, Threads, Facebook. Those are all at KERATX. Take care, and we'll see you on Monday.